Lake Powell is a huge body of water in the states of Utah and Arizona. It offers an incredible variety of opportunities to photographers. In this video, I will talk specifically about Wahweap Overlook, which is at the southern end of Lake Powell. A great thing about Wahweap Overlook is that it offers photographers multiple spectacular vantage points from a single location. I shot this location during the evening golden hour. Although there are multiple great shots you can achieve here, I will focus on three particular perspectives. The first vantage point I really found compelling was shooting north towards Wahweap Marina. I had a difficult time really deciding what portion of this scene to isolate and to focus on, so I decided to postpone the decision by shooting this very wide 14-image panorama. It actually took me a while to finally settle on a crop and to decide which portion of this image was really about. However, I ultimately went with this 1:2 aspect ratio panorama. I felt that this best captured the essence of the scene that I was looking at and what I wanted to show without having extraneous detail that wasn't really interesting. What I particularly like about this composition is the way that Lake Powell serves as a strong leading line towards what I consider to be the subject of this image, which is this rock formation and the marina situated below it. At the same time, there's some subtle leading lines in these hills which draw your eye towards this main subject. At the same time, in addition to this main subject, there's interesting enough detail in the mountains and in these hills and in the sky to keep you interested in looking at this image and not just passing it by. Another vantage point that I really found interesting was shooting south towards the city of Page and a power plant. This view offers something very different from the marina in terms of elements in the composition. I think it's interesting to have this power plant here specifically. It's interesting in the sense of having a power plant in the shadows of a landscape. I think there's something kind of poetic and meaningful about that. It also serves as a kind of contradictory or unusual element to feature in a landscape. But in general, I like the colors and the different layers and the different elements and the way that this river draws your eye up towards this somewhat hidden power plant. The final viewpoint I'll talk about is shooting east towards Navajo Mountain. This again offers something very different from the previous two perspectives, and I like this image a lot. I like all of the different layers with the river and these different desert elements and the canyon rim and Navajo Mountain itself, and then the sky. I think that offers a really strong composition that works really well in this wide 1:3 aspect ratio panorama. This image and all of the previous images were shot at telephoto focal lengths. While I think that this offers a lot of advantages in this location, the wind started to pick up considerably. Because I was so zoomed in, the motion blur caused by the wind started to be really magnified, and it became difficult to capture sharp photographs at these focal lengths. For this reason, I tried switching over to a wider lens, which wasn't going to be as susceptible to this wind-induced blur. Here's an image shot at, I think, 20 millimeters, in which I combined into a panorama. I don't think this is as strong of an image. All of those interesting details which are visible at the telephoto focal lengths are really too small to be seen in this image, and it's not really clear what this image is about. I think that if there was more interesting things going on in the sky, whether that's weather or more clouds, it might have been a more interesting image. The other issue is that I had a polarizer on and had significant banding over here on this portion of the sky compared to over here. So that's probably not a very good idea. Overall, I really liked shooting at Wahweap Overlook. It was a really beautiful place to be, an amazing place to watch the sun go down and be during golden hour. I think there's a lot of photographic opportunities there. Certainly there's more than just the shots that I showed. I do recommend having a telephoto lens available when you're here. I think that allows you to really isolate and have the most interesting compositions. They don't necessarily have to be panoramas, but being able to zoom in and really focus on specific areas that you can see allows you to have a lot of different compositions and not just one wide-angle shot. With that said, be prepared for wind. You may need to switch to a different lens if you don't have the ability to really keep those telephoto shots stable. It was reasonably crowded when I was there. Here's just a couple photographers that were also there along with me. There was also a lot of non-photographers. So if you're really serious, you may consider getting there early so that you can claim, the ideal spot. Though there's a lot of room up there, so I don't think there's just one place to photograph, but it may be something worth considering. If you enjoyed this video, definitely check out my companion blog post, which you can find at danielwitten.com/blog. The blog post includes full-screen copies of some of the images in this video. If you like this video and want more, hit the subscribe button below and check out my blog for more content. If you have questions or feedback, I would love to hear from you in the comments.